I did a poll in my Facebook group to see what topic people were most interested in when it came to lead generation into their business. And the winner was social media ads, so I'm going to go ahead and create a video series where I go into each platform and show you how you can set up lead generation campaigns. And this one we're going to jump into Facebook, so I can show you how to set up a lead generation campaign on Facebook or Instagram, and there's a few options you have here. Now this video is going to take you right from the start, so if you have zero experience with ads, it's going to show you exactly the steps that you need to take and the options you have when it comes to setting up the ads. But we're not going to delve into what targeting works or what creative works and stuff like that. We're just going to talk about the practical steps that you need to take to get started. So let's jump in a computer and take a look. So this is the Facebook Ads Manager. If you haven't seen it before, this is what it looks like. It looks a lot more complicated than it is. And in this video, we're not going to go deep into a lot of these buttons. We're just going to go through how you actually create a campaign and get your ads live. If you don't even know how to go here, you just have to go to ads.facebook.com and create an ad account. If you've not got a business account, you'll have to create that first by going to business.facebook.com. And then once you are in here, the first thing you need to do is just create a new campaign by clicking that button there. And then in this instance, we're going to be creating a leads campaign. So you would click leads in the campaign objectives down here. And that's going to create a new campaign. And I'm going to talk you through the steps of how to set up a campaign, the ad set and the ad, and the difference between each of them. So first up in the campaign here, you want to name it. So we're just going to call it test campaign, but you would want to name this something sensible so you know just by looking at it what this campaign is. And then in this part here, most of you are probably going to need to leave this blank, but if you do have any of these types of businesses, you need to declare that that is what you are advertising. So if you have a credit business, employment business, housing business, or social issues business. But we're going to go ahead and leave that blank, and then this next part you can leave blank, this you can leave as is, and this you also leave as is. We're not going to go into detail what these are in this video, and most of the time you want to leave them like this anyway. And then we go ahead and go to next, and that's going to take us to the ad set level. Now there's a few things you can do here, so you can choose here what you want as your conversion. Then if we scroll down, you can also put in your budget here. This is where you do your targeting as well, so you choose your audience, and then finally is where you choose where your ads are going to be placed on the Facebook and Instagram platforms. Now back at the top, we're going to name our ad set, and a good way to do this is just by basically putting all of this information into the name so you know what it is targeting. So for this example, we're just going to say women ages 20 to 50 lead form. And then next up, you're going to choose what a conversion is, and you have a few options here when you're doing leads. So website will push people to a website, to a landing page that you've created. Instant forms will bring up a form on the Facebook platform that the person can fill in. Messenger will go to the messenger so they can start a chat with you. Then you can do both of the two above here, instant forms and messenger. You can push them to try to call you, or you can push them to get your app. And the main three that you have to choose from here are websites, instant forms, and messenger. Some people might try to do calls, but because when you're doing social media marketing, it's interrupting their flow, it's unlikely they'll be in a position to be able to pick up the phone and call you right away. And your ad might not be good enough to get the interest where they want to stop it, whatever it is they're doing, and call you right away. So the top three are safer. Now, it's important to understand that if you're pushing people to a website, so you're picking the top one here, Facebook actually has a hard time tracking that user now since the iOS update. So some of the data might be lost from the user going from Facebook over to your website. But of course, on your website, you have a lot more control. You can put quizzes in, you can put games in, you can put different landing pages in. So that might be a good option for you. In this video, I'm going to show you instant forms and messenger so you can see if either of them are going to be good for your business. So let's start with instant forms, and then we're going to go down and you can choose a performance goal here. So you've got two options: maximize number of leads and maximize the number of conversion leads. Now, depending on which one you pick, depends who Facebook are going to prioritize your ad towards. The bottom one is people who are more likely to actually convert. So Facebook knows that they have converted on other ads before, and they're more likely to do so this time. And then the top one are just people that are likely to give you their contact information. Now, it might sound like you're going to want to pick the bottom one every single time, but if you pick the bottom one, you're probably going to end up spending more per lead because they have a higher intent than the one above. So you might actually want to pick the one above. I'm just going to leave it with the one above for this one. You then have to pick your Facebook page, which is just normal stuff. If you've never done this before, you're going to have to accept some terms and conditions. And then as we scroll down, you're not going to want to do catalog. That's more for e-commerce stores, but we're doing lead generation here. And then you want to change your budget So I'm just going to change this for £10, for example. You can set a start and an end date, but I usually don't put an end date in, so it's continuous, and then I monitor it and turn it off when I want. And then down here is where you do your targeting. So this is where you can change all of your targeting. I'm going to go through it. We're not going to go super into detail here. I'm just going to show you the options that you have. So first up is location. So you can type in locations here, or you can actually drop a pin onto the map and then put a radius, which is pretty cool. You can also click browse and go through this, but the easiest way is to just search. So let's say London, because I'm here in the UK, and then that will now target London, and then you can change the radius here as well. And if you just wanted it in London, you can put current city only. And I'll just show you how the pin works. So you just click drop the pin, drop it somewhere on the map, and then it will do a radius, and you can choose here how big that circle is. So let's put it right down to 1 kilometer. You can also exclude areas if you'd like to do that, just by clicking here and then putting it in. There you go, let's say that's the location. Next up is age. You all know what ages is. We're just going to change it to 20 to 50 because that's what I put up near the top. And then gender as well, I'm just going to change it to women because that's what I put in the title here. And then we have the detailed targeting, and if you click browse here, you can actually see all of the information you can pick from, or some of the information. So you can choose anniversaries, you can choose purchase behavior, so if they engage shoppers. Up in interest, you can choose food and drink, they like beverages such as coffee, and you can go through here and click any that you think makes sense. Or you can go ahead and search here, so if I wanted tea drinkers instead of coffee drinkers, I could put tea in here. And this is an area where people slip up, so I'm just going to let you know how this works. If I put tea and coffee into this same place, this is telling Facebook that I want to target coffee drinkers or tea drinkers. But if I actually wanted to get rid of that, and I wanted people who drink tea and coffee, you would click that button that I just clicked there, and then you would write it in here. So it's the narrow audience button. And then you can see that this includes people who match tea and must also match coffee. So now they like tea and coffee. And then if I wanted people that drank tea and coffee but did not drink Coca-Cola, I could put that in just like that using the exclude button. Now Facebook obviously don't actually know who drinks tea, coffee and Coca-Cola. These are just interests. So they're taking a guess based on the content that you consume, that you like tea, coffee or Coca-Cola. Don't worry, they don't actually spy on you and watch what you drink. Now let's say we've done all this and we're happy with it. We'd scroll down, and just so you know, this detailed targeting here, reach people beyond this, always leave this ticked off. If you tick this, that is letting Facebook ignore this and show it to more people. And then finally we have placements. By default it will put it here, which basically means Facebook can decide where to put your ads. I would suggest going to manual placement and taking out audience network, and then the rest is going to be dependent on the type of ad you're creating. So for example, if you aren't creating vertical video, you should untick Instagram Reels and Facebook Reels here. So just go through all of these and see which make the most sense. Maybe you don't want yours in Marketplace for whatever reason, you don't want any of these, you don't want it in article, and then just leave this placement as is. When you're doing lead ads, some will be grayed out and they won't actually let you be there anyway because you can't do lead ads in every position. So that's it for the ad set. On the right, it does give you some estimated results. They are usually absolute rubbish, so go ahead and ignore them. Sometimes you might want to pay attention to this estimated size here, but if you're a local business, this is going to be quite low. But if you are a national or an international business, you want this in the millions. And then we're going to go ahead and go to next, and that's going to take us to where we can actually create the ad. So once again, you want to name your ad and you want to make it very clear that what this type of ad is. So we're going to put woman in fluffy jumper. I don't actually have a picture to put in the ad here, but that could be an example. If you've got an Instagram placement, it's going to ask you to select an Instagram account. So you can go ahead and do that. And then you can scroll down here and it's going to give you the different formats that you can choose from. We're going to leave it as single image or video, but you can also have a carousel. And then now in this ad creative bit, this is where you are actually going to go ahead and put all of the information. So you can add media, so you can add a video or image here. Primary text on Facebook is going to come above the image or video. Headline is going to be below it, and then the description is going to be below that. And then the call to action button will just be in the bottom right. And I'll show you all of that in a minute. Okay, so I have gone ahead and filled it in, so you can see that I've put the image in here and it is showing up here. I've put this is the primary text to show you where it is, so it turns up just above here. This is the headline, which will be here, and then this is the description, which is just below that. And then the call to action, I've clicked sign up, but there's a few options you can click here, and that'll be in the bottom right here. Now this is on Facebook. If we go over to Instagram, it is different. It just shows the primary text here. And then if we go to stories, it's completely different. It comes up here with the primary text along the bottom. If you are putting your media into the feed and into stories, you can actually choose different images for your stories and for your feed to make sure that stories are vertical and feeds are square. Now once you've put your ad together, we're going to scroll down, and this is where you put together the instant form. So we're going to create the form, and it's going to come up just like this, and I'm going to walk you through it. So first off, you need a name, so I'm just going to call it Lead Form 2023, for example. And then you need to choose the form type, so you've got more volume, high intent, and custom. Now there's a problem with Facebook leads where you might get poor quality because when they click on the ad, it brings up the form and it will automatically input the information from their profile, and sometimes that's wrong if people haven't updated it in 20 years. So that's why you might want to go for higher intent, because that adds another step where they have to confirm their information. But how I do it is I actually always add in custom questions, so they can't just accidentally put their details in, press submit and give you wrong information. They have to go ahead and answer a couple of questions to show that they do definitely have intent. So I usually leave it on more volume and then do that. And then we're going to go to intro, and it asks to put a background image, which as you can see on the right here comes up along the top here. You can use the image from the ad, or you can use an uploaded image. You've then got a headline and a description that I'll show you how that turns up. So there you go, on the right you can now see that this is the headline, which is the part you put in here, and then this is the description, which is the bit you put in underneath. And then it gets into the questions. So when you click on the questions, you can add questions here, but there are also pre-filled questions. So by default, it will put in the email and full name, but they do have a couple of other options here. So you could put in a job title if you needed to know their job title for whatever reason. And these are questions that Facebook will take from the person's profile and put in here. You can add a description as well. So if you wanted a little bit underneath here, you can put it there, and you can see on the right where it's coming up. But you can also add in custom questions, and these are pretty powerful. So you could put a multiple choice question in here, for example, that says something along the lines of, are you an active business? Just for example, and then you can put in yes and no. And this just means that they actively have to click something. They can't accidentally press next and send you false details. So you just put in all of your custom questions and all of your pre-filled questions here, and you can see on the right how it will turn up. So it will have 2 pages, one with your custom questions and then the next with your pre-filled questions. And then you have to put in a privacy policy. So most of you should have one on your website. So you would just put in the link to that. And then if you want any link text, you put that in here as well. So you just put in privacy policy, and then they're going to be shown a privacy policy here on the right. If you need to put a disclaimer in as well, you can put that here. I'll just add one in so you can see what it looks like. So here you go. Here's the type of thing that you could add in here. So you could put, would you like to be added to our newsletter? By clicking yes, we will send you a weekly email with valuable tips, yes or no. So you can do something like that. Or if you need a disclaimer, as in you need them to be over the ages of 18, you can put that in here as well. And then finally, it's the message for the lead. So once they've submitted, what would you like to say? So thanks, you're all set. You can visit our website or exit the form now. And you would put in the website down here. So you've got a few different options here. So view website, and then you just put the link in here. I'll put in my link, and then view website, and you can see that down here the button says view website, so they can click on there, go across to their website if you want. And that's it, we've created the form. So then you click publish, it's going to add it to that ad, and now if someone clicks that ad, they're going to be taken to that form. And if you have multiple forms, they will all be here, and you can make sure that you click the right one for the correct ad. And there you go, it is all ready to go now, so you just click publish in the bottom right. If you wanted to create more than one ad, which I would highly suggest you do, you can click the action menu here and duplicate, and then change whichever bits you want. So you might want to change the graphic for this ad or change the text and do that. And you can do the exact same for the ad set here as well. You can duplicate it, and you could change some of the audience information that you put in to test which one works the best. Right, now I'm going to change this to Messenger to show you what you can do with the Messenger as well. So I've changed it to Messenger. Everything else will be the same. So when you go to the ad level here, so when you go to the ad itself, obviously the form is now gone, so you cannot do that anymore, but you can put in message templates, and I'll show you what that is. So very similar to the form, it's just in Messenger instead. So here is the example on the right here. So you put a welcome message, which is when they click the ad, it brings up the Messenger and this will send to them. So in this example, it says, "Hi Joe, please answer a few questions so we can get to know you better." And then you can put in the questions here and you can say what you want to happen to that lead depending on what they click. So the only options you actually have are next question, completion, or disqualification, which is quite good to just get rid of the people that might be wasting your time. And you simply just put in any questions that you want to get from them, and then once they have completed it, it will say thanks, we'll let you know what happens next, or whatever you want to put in here. And if you do want to use disqualification, you can do a message here. Thank you for your interest, but it looks like we're not a good fit at this time, for example. And once again, you have to put in the privacy policy. And then once you've done that, you just press save and finish. You can also preview it here, but we'll click save and finish. Oh, you have to put the privacy policy in. I'm just going to chuck in my website there. And there you go. Now we have an automated chat message template. So it is very similar. It's just a slightly different method. So there you go. They are the two ways that you can create a lead ad without even having to have a website. But of course, you can use your website as well and just push people towards your website. If you have any questions about this, do put them down in the comments. I will be doing more videos around what makes a good creative, what makes a good audience, and stuff like that as well. So make sure to subscribe so you can see them. And down in the description, there's going to be a link to the Facebook group. So if you would like to get involved with other people who are looking to bring leads into their business, go over to the Facebook group and join. And I'll see you next time.